Hello, my name's Anita Mawhinney. I'm a composer from County Down in Northern Ireland. My composition career probably took off after I entered the Peter Rosser Foundation and the Hard Rain Composition Prize back in 2020. And I'm so very grateful for that, as it basically changed my life. And I've had many new pieces under my belt now, and I've been really grateful to have so many opportunities to work with such great performers as well. My most recent piece is Pierrette, which was commissioned by Harty Room SoloistEnsemble, and it will be performed by them on the 8th of March 2025, along with special guests from the #ensemble. It was finished only in about the end of January this year, so it's really quite recent and the ink is still very wet. The concept of the piece is actually the legend of Pierrot, whom some people probably know is a famous 17th century French sad clown, and the character usually is portrayed as wearing black and white costume. It's quite stereotypical. It has black pom-poms down the front, sometimes a little skull cap, and their face was painted white and had these little teardrops down, all very, very sad and definitely kind of a stereotype. Pierrot has been featured in art and in literature, and there are ballets about him and lots of music, many other things. I know myself that I used to be really obsessed with Pierrot the clown when I was about 8 or 9 years old, and my entire room was decorated with Pierrot everything. Pictures on the walls, notebooks, sparkly things, yeah, all the whole lot. The Pierrot Lunaire ensemble itself, which is what Hard Rain is based on, is actually named after Pierrot the clown from Schoenberg's famous piece Pierrot Lunaire, and that was written for soprano, soloist and instrumentalists, and Hard Rain have obviously performed that a number of times over the years as well. So my piece is based on a more contemporary reimagining of the Pierrot character. So Pierrot is now called Pierrette. Pierrette is quite insecure and very shy and dresses in an androgynous kind of way, just to conceal themselves, conceal their appearance, conceal their gender, conceal their race. Everything that could be hidden is kind of hidden. And it's basically a way of hiding shyness in plain sight, particularly when performing as a harlequin clown or a mime in a larger crowd, as this Pierrette actually does or did. I think shyness and insecurity are a really terrible thing to happen to people, and I know myself, still even now sometimes, can get very shy when talking or when performing, and I think it's something that is often just dismissed as being, yeah, they'll grow out of it, or yeah, that person's quite quiet and doesn't really want to talk, or sometimes you can feel very disregarded by other people. So I think that it's a real thing, and it can come from many different things, but shyness is an issue, and that's the main concept of my piece. So Pierrette uses a lot of different instruments for the different characters, so it's quite theatrical in a way, and the role of Pierrette themselves is actually taken by the clarinet. The flute plays Columbine, who Pierrette basically is in love with. The cello is called Harlequin, who's another clown, but is also more flamboyant and quite outspoken and quite hurtful sometimes towards Pierrette. That definitely comes through with the cello. And the violin is the character of the moon, and this is someone whom Pierrette confides in and respects a great deal and eventually gets together with. There's a few things that you might want to listen out for if you do hear my piece. The mysterious opening, which features Schoenberg-like broken melodies and claves. I was kind of thinking of 1970s and 80s TV shows like Kojak and Columbo for the claves, and I'm kind of impressed with how cool it sounds. I'm hoping that this comes across when you hear it. Later on in the piece, I think it's around 4 minutes, there will be a fragmentary chorale. Now, people who know my styles know I quite often stick a chorale-based subject in there. So the chorale theme will come about 3 times, and sometimes in fragments, sometimes a much larger overall impression of the chorale too. So one more thing that you might want to listen out for, there is a surprising twist towards the end of the piece, and I'll not tell you too much about it, but what I'll say is, if you've ever seen the film Labyrinth from the 1980s with Jennifer Connelly and the one and only David Bowie, and lots of Muppets, of course, you can remember the masquerade scene, which is based in a kind of fantasy of a glass bubble. Think of that, and that's what I was going for with that particular section. I am immensely excited to be working with Hard Rain Soloist Ensemble again. I'm really lucky that this is the 4th time that I've been able to work with them, and it's the very first time as well that I get to include percussion. So I'm really excited about that. I can't wait to hear these amazing instrumentalists again. So please do come and hear Pierrette, which will be performed this Saturday, 8th of March at 7:30 p.m. in the Harty Room in Queen's University Music Building in Belfast.